Hi YouTubers, I just want to explain my B77 Mark II speed control board to you, which I had problems with. I bought a kit from Peter in Australia. It's the easiest way to go. He's got an upgrade kit where he takes out the tantalum capacitors in the Revoxes and replaces them with normal electrolytics. And these are the tantalum capacitors that you can pick up. They are polarized, so you've got a negative and positive, and they must go in the same way. The little green one there, that is also a tantalum. And what Peter tends to do is he replaces them with the electrolytics, which are those things there. Again, they're polarized. You must make sure they go the right way round. Right, in this board, my main problem was that I put the probes to check the frequency in the wrong place and took out the chip. That's the SN76131N, which made the capstan motor spin high speed. So I replaced that eventually. You can replace it with a TAB231, which are slightly more easier to get hold of. The power transistors, which are there, they're RCA 411s, which are almost impossible to find. But I managed to, again, there is stock out there for the Motorola one, which is M411. And again, there's a guy on eBay that sells those for about £3, which is worth having a spare at least. Having changed my SN76131 chip, which is that one there, things went sort of back to normal. But at the same time, I made the dreadful mistake of changing the NE555P chip with one that I bought from eBay. So when I went to calibrate this board, and I'll show you some footage that I've done earlier on that, I got 800 Hertz at 15 IPS. Then when I went down to 7.5 IPS, I got something like 1600 Hertz. And what that was a duff chip bought from eBay. I found a replacement old stock chip and put that in there, and it all came back to normal. And of course, with this potentiometer, you just adjust your speed until you get 800 Hertz at both speeds, 7.5 and 15. And I think that also applies to 7.5 and 3 3/4. I don't think there's any difference. So that's the speed board on the B77 Mark II Revox. This was bought from eBay as a restored machine. It really wasn't. It was purely just fixed up with a couple of components that made it work. It had issues when I got it, and I gradually been going through it and fixing it. But the kits you certainly get from Peter, and the information you get from him, where he's done all the legwork for you, are well worth looking at, even if you don't buy them. He does replace, as I say, the tantalum capacitors, which are those there, with normal electrolytics, something like that there. Focus! There you go. Which are polarized. There's your chip, the small one. That's the NE555P. That's the old potentiometer replaced with the new one. That was there. So hopefully this has been interesting. I did do a lot more footage of this Revox, which I'm not going to put up because I'm just going to concentrate on the speed board, because it seems to be one of the issues that quite a few people seem to have had in the past. There are experts out there. I'm not one of them. There's Brian Reeves. He's a Revox expert. Nigel Hunt is another guy that can help you. And you can source these off the internet. They've both got websites. I think one's Nigel's Tape Recorder UK or something. But they're easily accessible off the internet. But be careful if you're buying chips from eBay, and just try and make sure that they are what they say they are. And it's no good buying 10 MP or NE 555P chips for like 50p when they're basically useless for this application. Right, these are your probes connected in the right place. The negative to the black wire, and then you're positive there's a lead down there where you connect it to. What it should read at both speeds, this is running at I think that's 7.5, should be about 800. You're allowed 1%. Okay, so that's bouncing between, as you can see, and it's just warming up. So now if you increase the speed, and I'm taking it, that's probably what I'm going to do now. That's right, so that is now 15 IPS. The frequency should be the same, and there it is. That will probably bounce between 799 and 800 Hertz, and that's correct. If you don't get that, I suggest that you change the NE555P chip, the small one that sits behind there. Just see it past the red capacitor, just there. Not, where are we? Not this one, but this one. Now I've looked on YouTube and I've looked on the forums and that, and it's pretty sketchy. There are people trying to help. I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you what I've found and what I've done. The next job on this machine is to calibrate it. As I say, this is a Mark II Revox. It's been modified to have this top on it that makes it look a bit like a PR99, but it is not. It is just a Mark II Revox. I don't know who modified these back in the day, but there must have been a company doing that. Generally it works quite well. As you can see, the rewind on it is very good. The brakes are good on it. And now with the recap, it's good. It just needs, as I say, a proper alignment, which I've got to do at some stage. I do have some equipment up there that I can do that with, and scope over there. So I'm going to give it a go anyway. So here we are. So as you can see, the brakes work quite well. That noise is, of course, the tape is shredding, folks. The tape is not very good. And this is Ampex. I believe it might be 406 or 407. It's not Grandmaster from the day. So the tape is over 30 years old. But it's a nightmare to keep this tape running at least. So the machine sounds like this after a recap.
Working in the city, or living in the countryside. In the great East Midlands, there's a station that's always by your side. It's a world full of magic, something special every day. Just turn us on for your golden oldies, the great East Midlands music station. Have a golden day with Jam AM.
Great East Midlands, we love to live in Leicestershire. Derbyshires refreshing, Nottinghamshire's the place to grow.
Here's a world full of magic, something special every day. Words and music that live forever, we share them each time we get together. And you spend your day with Jam AM. Have a golden day. Jam AM. 945. Jam AM. 1260. Jam AM. 999. Jam AM. Have a golden
Good morning.
Good morning. Have a golden day. Enjoy yourself with solid gold Jam AM.
Well, jingles available from Jam Productions in Dallas, Texas. We used to sell them, but that was an awful long time ago. So there you go. That's it. That's the B77 Mark II. Just a quick explanation as to what I found. When I looked on YouTube for some help with the restoration on this, I found very little help. There were people doing things from a distance, just fixing, and you couldn't really make out what they were doing. But I hope that this is some sort of help to somebody that might be struggling, certainly with that speed control, because that can be tricky. and if you don't put the probes in the right place, you're never going to get it right. But please be careful, because it is high voltage in these machines, and this machine will bite you nastily. So if you're not sure what you're actually doing, don't do it. It's my I've been playing with these machines for years, and I do have a guy that I do call on if I get stuck, who can help me. But I know a lot of guys haven't, and a lot of people doing these machines work on their own, and I just hope this can help you. But I'm no expert. As I say, people are out there, people know more about these machines than me, and if you're really stuck, then those are the people maybe to have a word with. I know Nigel Hunt at Tape Recorder site will talk to you, and we'll try and help you. I'm not sure about Brian Reeves. I have spoken with Brian a couple of times over the years, but I think with Brian, he's been in such a long time repairing these machines, and he's over the years probably had more time wasters than he really needs to deal with, and I'm afraid that is the case with a lot of things. But thanks for watching. Hope it's been useful, and bye for now.